Hello, this is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, filling you in since 2002. This is one of the Tracksuit Mafia True Builder, Goon Builder action figures from the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus, but also from the comic book where they were introduced in the Hawkeye series. So we're going to be looking at this Goon Builder, which is called the Tracksuit Mafia. Very difficult to spot if you're a Canadian, but mine outside of the country, it's still not available for us Canadians. So we saw the Tracksuit Mafia Goons in the Disney Plus Hawkeye series, where they were the main villains working under the Kingpin. The way this figure works is that it comes with alternative heads. Here's one. This goon was one of the main villain, also dating one of the female villains too, Echo. And this is a generic face, a mask for any kind of goon. There were so many of them. And as for this one, he was the Russian, kind of funny, silly Tracksuit Mafia goon. So each of them came with several props. Well, the same props. A golf course, cocktail Molotov, crowbar, machete. So the aim of this thing is that, and of course a baseball bat, the aim of this thing is that you can customize them and buy as many as you want. So you can have like 50, 30 goons. In the series, there were like at least that many. Now, goons are always in demand for villains. Here I've got my Crimson Ninjas from Articulated Icon or Foosh. And of course, I've got Daredevil over here. Daredevil would be the kind of guy that would be fighting those kind of goons. I don't have a Hawkeye action figure, well, a recent Hawkeye action figure with me right now. So I'm using Daredevil. The sculpt is not exactly new, if I'm not mistaken. There might be some reused parts from previous Marvel Legends figures. But you can see the articulation here, good 90 degrees. Okay. Swivel the biceps. A bit stiff. Double elbow articulation. They're not pinless. And hands that bend inside, or left to right. The heads do move to some extent. There's an ab crunch. Very good. And there is no pizza oven here, so that's very good. Although if you look at the back, it doesn't look so good, but just like that, it's a good figure for that. And just a swivel at the hip, nothing special. This is not a G.I. Joe figure, so it doesn't raise its hips all that much. But it can sit, so on. Swivels at the thighs. The only problem, obviously, just like with the elbows and bicep, so when you turn them around, they're misaligned. But it does have articulations here. They are pinless, and I don't really want to try it, force too much. Okay, yeah. They seem a bit tight. Yeah. Okay. I should put you in hot water before I do anything more with you. So I'm not going to try to bend this one. I don't want to break it. And they do have pivots at the feet, ankles that are good enough. Can pivot a bit. Okay. And you can change weapons or gear to your taste. Depends on you. And of course, you can change the heads. Let's try to do that. Okay, so we've got a goon head here. The neck is a separate piece, but it doesn't bend. So here's my goon, or Tracksuit Mafia. And now this guy. So you can see how we can have different looks, and they do look good. Let's put him next to Shipwreck and see how good it looks next to Shipwreck. Good enough. Let's put this guy up normally. These are not hand ninjas. I do have a few hand ninjas, but I don't really like them, and they're probably out of scale with this guy versus these would be probably more in scale. Yeah, it's a better scale. They match better. Cocktail Molotov. It doesn't hold well in his hand, so most times it feels like he'll be burning his hand. A golf course. Neat piece of equipment if you ask me. Baseball bat. I like this. It's very sturdy. It's not metallic, but it does have that feel. There's like a little bit of a weight here, so that's good. So if you want to hit someone with that crowbar. And that's it. That's the Tracksuit Mafia. How it looks. Again, these haven't come out in Canada. That's a bummer. I bought this overseas. For a couple of pounds. I'm gonna try to get more of them. I assume that maybe Toys R Us, because they were Target exclusive in Canada, we always get the Toys R Us exclusive. Well, whatever is Target exclusive is Toys R Us exclusive. That's usually how it works in Canada. So I assume that maybe Toys R Us did not want to be affiliated with a figure called Tracksuit Mafia, so then skip on that. Often what happens is that the fan channel retailer, the stores, will get those later on, but a few months later, close to a year later. I've seen a lot of Python Patrol exclusive action figures now showing up at many retailers. It may be what will happen. We'll see them at online action figure stores, comic book stores in a few months. So I'll wait a bit before I get even more, but I obviously want to army build these guys. I think they're cool. And I found out that they're also compatible with some Marvel Legends heads. Like this guy, I've had this guy for a while. What's his name again? Arcade. So the alternate arcade head even fits well with this guy. Good. So as you can see, he looks even crazier with this head. I really like it. I've got a bunch of those heads lying around all over the place from Marvel Legend figures that I can use. And this is what the Tracksuit Mafia is good for. I really recommend these guys. I know they're a bit hard to get sometimes, especially if you're a Canadian. But yeah, let's wait a bit. They might show up. Of course, if you can't find it you locally, you can buy it off eBay or Mercury and so on, other places like that. So like and subscribe. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, filling you in since 2002.